And now, your host, the voice of We Provoke Thoughts. And for that, we do not apologize.
Good day, I am the voice of We Provoke Thought. We Provoke Thought is an organization and show that is the platform for those who have an opinion, idea, or educated information to share to the world, an outlet to voice your feelings and facts. Now today we're going to be going from left to right, where we'll be speaking about the quality of life for the Melanin Rich family, to does Bernie Sanders sandbag Hillary Clinton or does Donald Trump them all? But before we begin, we always like to give the audience an idea of the demographics in which we're reaching. I pose this question to you. What city and state are you in?
Brooklyn, New York.
Go Brooklyn, Brooklyn, Brooklyn. That's what I'm talking about. Brooklyn. That's you go. BK in the house again. That's what I like. I love it. I love it. Now, first and foremost, being out there in Brooklyn, being in New York, I think New York is probably you can't go anywhere in the world and not know anything about New York. I mean, you can go from Africa to Asia and, you say, I'm from Denver, and they'd be like, where? But if you say you're from New York, they like, So being in New York, it's the Mecca. With that, there's a lot of things that have happened in New York, outside of New York, and other cities and states as well. And that is with the police brutality. We have massive amount of racial tension going on. Let me pose this one question to you to start it off. Where does one see the country's position racially?
I see this country, racially, I see that it is not fit for us, meaning people of melanin, not fit for us. This judicial system was not made with us in mind, and it's up to us to change these people that are in the positions to make these laws. And we're hiring them, and our tax dollars are paying them, so we should change it. So I don't feel good about what's going on right now racially.
All right. Do you feel as though, because for ages, growing up, I've seen that whenever there was an issue or problem where there was injustice happening to the Melanin Rich family, the answer usually was nonviolent. In most cases, it was nonviolent, and it was led by marches and speeches and so on and so forth. At what point do we put down the posters and the stop wearing the T-shirts? And at what point do we start to punch the bully in the mouth, or do we want to take it there?
I believe really that we have been conditioned to be submissive and to be nonviolent because we're not prepared. We're ill prepared.
All right.
I do not believe in protesting. I do not believe in all of this talking. Anything that really happened to change this world came by force.
Right.
And since we were dragged here and we are not really citizens of this country, we were kidnapped and brought here, I feel like we have to change it to make it fit what we have to live. And I don't believe that's done with marching and protesting. It hasn't gotten us anywhere.
Right. And so was desegregation, was that good for us then, do you think? Or what are your feelings on that? Integration
has caused us to be dependent on this country, meaning paychecks and everything else. We owned businesses, we had mom and pop stores, we survived off of one another, and it brought about unity. Now, with integration, it has basically destroyed us because we're trying to fit into a society to which we don't belong. But at the same time, look what happened to Black Wall Street. We try to establish our own.
So it's almost as if there's a position that they want us in, and if we try to deviate from that, right or left, they send the forces in to take care of us, and in some cases limit us in numbers, because at the end of the day, many people say, they're trying to kill us off, and I don't believe that they're trying to kill all of us because they need us. I believe that we're the pulse of the universe, in my opinion. We make up the fabric of this universe in the sense of how we've built this country, and there's not a corner of this planet that you cannot find melanin rich families. So at the end of the day, they can't get rid of us, but they do want to limit us in numbers, because once you've done that, that's where the control begins. That's where you will have that control. And I also believe that, which is fact, they're dying off. They're dying off. They're not reproducing like as much as we are and other minority groups as well. Right now, they're looking at a breakdown in the political house as well. Now, what are your thoughts on that?
I believe, I believe Malcolm X said it best, the chicken coming home to roost. Basically, when you are taught a behavior and that behavior is carried over from generation to generation, you usually reap what you sow. And so what you see now with this Circus Act and everything that's going on and children killing off parents and them tossing their elders away, they were never taught to value their their heritage. They were taught their heritage to use it against us. You understand? However, I don't believe that they will succeed, because you can't steal and use trickery and newly invented matters and expect it to stand firm.
All right. Now, there are those that, at least on the surface, try to speak for us. There's a promise, because with Obama about to leave office, you have the new candidates that are looking to run this country or police the world, because we already know how America gets down like that. But nonetheless, there is at least one candidate that is trying to be the voice or the pacifier for the Melanin Rich families, that being Bernie Sanders. And then you have one who seems to, in some cases, some people say, hey, he's speaking the truth. He's letting the people know just how he operates. He's showing his hand, if you will, and that's Donald Trump. Let's start off with Donald Trump. What are your thoughts?
Let me backtrack a little bit. You mentioned Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Although, looking at his history, he has, moved with our people. He is part of the nonviolent movement back in the day. However, I do not believe that anybody that does not come from my culture should speak for people of our culture.
Right.
The person that is in office that's from our culture, that grew up with the disrespect and the racism that we endured. Look at how this was the most disrespected president. Filthy, outright. There was, it was so much antagonistic behavior when he was trying to just do things to change this country and put us on the track. And so I don't believe that Bernie Sanders is the savior. However, he's the lesser of all of the evils that we have as candidates.
Right.
Now,
and is that a good thing, though?
Is it a good thing? No, because these are not the people that we've put in. And had our men and women have not been labeled and psychologically screwed over to be in this prison system, which negates your right to vote and be politically active, because they have laws and you have to get things expunged in order for you to be in a proper position to move around in this judicial system. You know how this goes.
Exactly.
This is why we don't have much of an upper hand. Now, when you're speaking about Trump, let's not even go there. Let's not even talk about Trump, because this is a circus act. Everything that he has called himself putting into place, he's contradicted himself, even down to his clothing line. It's made in China, Mexico. Everything about him is slave drive. Everything about him is slave drive. Me being a Muslim woman, I don't believe in pledging allegiance to the flag. It's not that I'm anti-America. I just don't believe that flag has ever worked for us. And that has nothing to do with me. When those laws were created, they weren't thinking about my people. Native Americans, which is my heritage, never, ever had anything to do with flags. That didn't come about until they came and sabotaged this country and stole it right from under their feet. So I say all of that to say Trump is a child of immigrants, and you don't pledge allegiance to the flag, but you want to run this country. Your hands are down every time. Every time everyone else has pledged allegiance to the flag, he's standing there with his arms out. He's never brought to the table about anything. It's a lot of rhetoric and stupidity and a disrespect. Come on, it's not even. But the fact that he made it this far shows us what this country is about.
So do you think maybe he's possibly a distraction? Because for him, with all this saber rattling that he has going on right now, his mouth, he speaks candidly on issues. As you say, he contradicts himself a lot. But at the end of the day, he speaks candidly and openly without apology on a lot of different things that in any other case any other candidate, I would think that in the past would have saw themselves having to drop out of the race, whereas he's being, ushered in by a group that seems to want what I think his slogan is, let's make America great again, go back to the way things were, so to speak. I mean, do you feel as though he's a distraction? I mean,
what I believe is he's not even a distraction. He's entertainment. And because we live in a microwave world, we live in a microwave world. There's nobody that is under the age of 30 that is willing to wait more than a minute for a meal. Everybody wants things now. That's why the internet is so popular. So he gives stupid answers for stupid people. Everybody goes by Google as opposed to going to, I'm being serious, but people won't pick up a book anymore. Libraries are closing down because of non-funding. Everybody goes to Google.
Right.
So this man is giving immediate answers. However, without immigrants, he would have never been married.
Exactly.
There's no true American woman that, first of all, your children are born from immigrant women. Okay?
Right.
And he is entertaining. He is the mouthpiece for racist Americans that have been silenced due to being afraid of being sued, due to it being illegal for you to say what you want to say. He's the mouthpiece for all of those people that waited patiently for 8 years or longer to say nigger, to say we hate you people, we don't want you here, we hate Muslims, we hate Mexicans, we hate disabled, they hate everything. However, they know nothing about this country. So he's the mouthpiece for stupid people.
But blow on this.
Blow.
Leave my man Donald Trump the hell alone.
Leave him alone.
If you got something to say, you got something you want to tell him, run it by us first.
That's right.
Run it by me first, and I'll let you know whether you have permission to come for him. Don't come for him unless he invites your ass.
And the generation of now. So Trump is really not a factor. I think they're just letting him play it out, and I think America is reaping what they sow by this circus act being our political year. This is a circus act.
All right.
This is comedy.
All right. Well, do you now on the other side of that coin? I mean, with Bernie and Trump, and I'm not going to make this conversation based on these candidates much longer, but we do have Hillary Clinton in there as well. You got two wolves and a sheep basically running for the presidency, and no disrespect in the sense of for Bernie Sanders, but this is a good analogy to put it there. I mean, you have two criminals, two crooks out there, and with Hillary Clinton, I mean, she tried to lean on, I guess, her women. Do you feel as though that's a leg in for her?
Okay. As far as Hillary, let's be clear. Her daughter Chelsea and Donald Trump's oldest daughter are best friends. So this left wing, right wing crap, they're from the same insect. So they may have two different wings. It's on the same bird, same insect, however you want to put it. Hillary's husband they love to call him the first black president. He has nothing to do with black people. Absolutely nothing to do with black people. He was actually the one responsible for mass imprisonment of our men. And I mean men of melanin, women, Latinos. You get what I'm saying? So her being in office, first of all, let's backtrack. Why aren't you as transparent as any of the other candidates that had to give up their information? Why you still have hidden emails? What happened there? Why did so many tragedies happen while you were Secretary of State? What happened that you had to hide and have it legally removed? Your server had it legally removed, and then I believe she requested immunity if information was found out. Why would you need to do that?
Right.
What?
Right.
If
I mean, well,
if you're transparent and you love this country, what are you hiding? So she doesn't speak for me. She just happens to have a vagina, but she doesn't speak for me.
Okay.
So that's not. I
there
don't consider her on our team as women.
Well, her hands are dirty.
So,
well, we could definitely we know, having a vagina or not, we know her hands are dirty, so we're gonna leave it at that. Now speaking about imprisonment, the Clintons, and knowing that this country, the laws were not written for us. There has been a question that I've been looking to ask many people, and you mentioned earlier in this segment here that you felt as though that we were ill prepared in the sense of trying to take our freedom from those who are trying to oppress us. Because I could tell you right now, from my experience as well as my knowledge, that there are plenty of groups out there that are practicing, that are training to not only protect their homes and so-called protect their countries or so. There are those that are in fear of uprising from the Melanin Rich families, and they are prepared to to go to war with us just as quickly as they are prepared to go to war with someone intruding in their homes. So with that being said, we have the issue right now. No, it hasn't. No, it has not. It definitely has not. So with that being said, nonviolent felons, first of all, what are your thoughts or what are your feelings on the Second Amendment? The right to bear arms.
Nonviolent, it's so necessary. It's so necessary. Had our ancestors bared arms, we wouldn't be here. Had our ancestors bared arms, we wouldn't even be. We wouldn't have had the blankets full of smallpox. There wouldn't be an intrusion, and America wouldn't be the melting pot that it is now, because these people invaded America, and now they want to make it great again. So the right to bear arms is so necessary. But as I said,
hold it. With that,
okay.
With that, so what are your feelings? Do you believe that nonviolent felons deserve to have their Second Amendment rights reinstated? Because if you don't know, once you've become a felon, certain rights such as that automatically are taken away from you. Do you believe that maybe
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
right.
You said, do I believe that nonviolent felons? First of all, it should have never been taken away. Do you know how many people, Caucasian people, are on the police force that got their records expunged? That were thugs.
Man.
That were thugs.
Right.
And they know a couple of people in the judicial system, and they got their records expunged. They're bearing arms, and they're still being thuggish in that blue uniform. So, it's BS. And secondly, let's look at how many people now it's coming to pass. I believe a sheriff was just brought up on charges for using the psychological testing that they use to out our people of melanin, so that we couldn't have those jobs as sheriffs and things like that. And they were doing a lot of psychological testing and changing it up so that our people couldn't be in law enforcement. Well, you know what that's for. And there's no question as to why this is happening. But if you're a nonviolent criminal, or you have a nonviolent offense, we have to prove that, because we also have, I believe there's a lady getting ready to serve time that purposely tampered with labs for our people to make them look like they were using drugs. And she's getting ready to serve time so all of those people need to be freed. Their records need to be cleared, not expunged, because they didn't do those crimes. She tampered with those. So now she's going to jail. What happens to those hundreds and hundreds of people that she has destroyed? And they're now serving time off of false records. So she's going to jail, but what happens to those people? So they need to come out. Their records need to be cleared. So all I'm saying is, when you set up things in place to stop such a mighty race, I understand why, but that's why I don't believe in nonviolence. I understand their fear, because us joining forces and understanding our worth is the most dangerous thing that could ever happen to America, and it's coming.
It's coming.
It's coming.
Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock. Good. Well, I tell you what, we'll lighten it up just a little bit because you did mention some other things that brought some other questions to mind. Now, what is the state of family in the Black community right now?
As far as the father being in the household and being active, very necessary. But we have to also be responsible for what we have done to our families by not sticking it out, by using this same crooked judicial system to put men on child support as opposed to sitting down and handling business. When you can't partially put your feet in, in the water. You have to either jump in or you have to jump out. So either you believe in this judicial system or whatever you believe in, or you don't. But first of all, that's a big factor when you put a price tag on your baby's head. When you procreate with a man because of his finances and not his character. So those things are real serious issues. When you procreate and you don't love or know this person, you're headed for a broken family and you're headed for single parent homes. So fathers being active, they're frustrated, their hands are tied. I'm not saying all of them because all of us women do not believe in that. Me personally, I don't believe in child support. But, that's between that man and the law, whatever he does or does not do for his child, just like it's between the woman and the law, what she does not do for her children or how she misuses her power, over that child. So I don't believe black love has failed. However, I believe there's a lot of work to be done. And the higher the man's tax bracket is, I notice he tends to stray towards lighter complected women. All right.
You're making a segue to another discussion now.
Okay, I'm just saying. I believe in it, but it's a lot of work because we're used to being when you have to condition yourself mentally as a woman to raise your family and do the best you can and wear different caps and still try to be happy and go to Parent Teachers Conference. I mean, so many different caps. And then you have somebody coming in when you didn't have a childhood built on trust. You have somebody coming in asking you to trust them and submit. It's very difficult. So they tend to get turned off. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we have to act like men when we're not men. We're not built for that. We're not built to be single mothers. So, this is it's a troubling situation all around, but it takes a lot of work. It can be done, but, a lot of these things that are going on, these feminine young men, because only a feminine young man would stand over a woman and try to intimidate her. That's immaturity and that's gay.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
You know what I mean? So that's lack of having a man around to show you this is how you treat them, you protect them. And you have a lot of people that are running away from responsibility. They're fearful, because it's hard. It's very hard. Any marriage, any relationship, any building of families, it takes work. And it's easier to run. It's easier to run.
Indeed it is. Well, good. We got some good answers, though. I do sense you were reserved a little bit, but we're going to leave that for another time. Before I let you go, the question is, if you had the power, what would you do with it?
If I had the power of what?
You had just had the power to do anything that it was that you desired to do. What would it be? What would you do with it?
If I had the power, I would eradicate, and I hate to say this, but I would eradicate blended families, and I would eradicate hunger and poverty. Because with those things, when you're hungry and you are without, anything is better than what you have. And sometimes people are willing to sell their souls just for a meal or to have what they've always longed for. So those things I would eradicate, and I would make communication, and when I say communication, I mean one talks, one listens, process, and then responds. I would make that law. as opposed to yelling and rhetoric.
Are you about to fill up the prisons? You about to fill up the prisons. I might as well just sign it. I'm guilty at times myself. But you're right. You're very right. And those were some great answers as well. You're very right. But I don't know if I'd have to fight you on that.
No,
well, can we just get penalties with that?
Do 3 times, no. But with anything you do after 3 times, I guess it would become habit. So it's something that you work on. Yeah, I wouldn't lock you up. But right. I mean, it's my power. How you gonna ask me?
Yeah, that's. Well, I appreciate it. I thank you for allowing We Provoke Thought to form to express yourself. And always, you that are listening, and find us on Facebook channel, YouTube channel, Instagram, Twitter, We Provoke Thought, and also on our website, www.provokethought.com. I thank you again. The issues with relationships and the family issues, I think that a lot of problems that we have nowadays are based on the fact that a lot of women and men are giving marital, let's say husband and wife benefits to boyfriend and girlfriend relationships. I think if we stop doing that, we can solve a lot of problems in itself as well. Well, I thank you again. I'm going to say goodbye. Hold the line. I'm going to say goodbye to you on the other end.
Okay.
This call has been recorded.